what? I need to make sure I do that because there's a lot of people that can't join that want to watch the replay. So, Katie, I'm just going to hand it over to you and have you share your story and kind of talk through anything for us, tips and tricks, especially when we're feeling that maybe that our business isn't moving forward as fast as we want it to, and kind of getting through the ups and the downs and the peaks and the valleys. And anything you want to share with us, we are all yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys first and foremost so much for having me. It's an honor. And I remember meeting you for the first time ever, Megan, in, where were we, in Cabo? I don't remember. And you were like 6 months in and brand spanking new. And I mean, I remember that exact moment, meeting you at that table. And so, it's been great to watch your journey as well, which has been amazing, and kudos to this amazing team as well. I feel like I am delayed. Am I delayed to you guys, or is it just me?
Nope,
I'm not delayed.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope,
I feel like I'm maybe because I'm looking at myself on the computer too. I don't know. So first and foremost, you guys, if you guys have any questions, post them in the chat. I have my computer open for a reason. If you guys have questions on anything specific that I bring up through my story, like don't hesitate to ask anything. I'm a pretty open book, and I wear it on my sleeve. So that's very much how I run my business and my emotions as well. So don't hesitate whatsoever. So I have been in direct sales for, gosh, probably 11 to 12 years, kind of a mismatch. I've been an entrepreneur for 13 or so with owning businesses and whatnot. And so I love being my own boss. Like, I love it. I love having my own control of things and dictating what I want to do. And so this is not my first direct sales company. I have been in another company, and I was with them for 6 years. And as much as I enjoyed it, I enjoyed parts of the community until I left. I found out the real type of community that they were. But I enjoyed the idea of residual income and time leveraging. If you don't understand what those two things are, you need to educate yourself, because it's amazing. It is something that is unbelievably powerful and has given my family time freedom. I'm having a huge knee surgery next month, and I don't have to worry about taking off and not being able to walk for the next 6 to 7 weeks, and losing my job as a dental hygienist, because I don't have to skip a beat. My business is going to grow actually with taking time off. And that is something that is really, really powerful. And it's, I don't know, residual income and time freedom are just game changers. And so if you don't understand what those are, you need to know that. And I started Zaya in February of 2018. We had just turned 1 year old. And there really wasn't much. My rep number is 698. And so it is something that I didn't know what the heck this was. I had never tried the product. Like I said, I've been in direct sales before, but I've never seen a product like this. And I, first and foremost, have never thought of selling clothes, like, whatsoever. It was my husband that actually pushed me into it, because I had no intention of coming back to direct sales after my last company. And so for me, it was kind of like, you really just told me yes to do this, after he truly hated. Those words are powerful, but that's how he felt about my last company. And so when he was like, this is so you, like, if I wasn't in scrubs, I was in workout clothes. I'm a mom of 3 boys. And if I wasn't at the gym, I was at errands. I was running around chasing kids, but at the time I was also looking for something, you guys. And no joke, 6 months prior, I was actually looking at opening a cupcake shop, because I love to bake. And so it was like, now I sell spandex for people that don't stop eating cupcakes. It's great. So it's really good. But it was, if you guys have ever seen Cupcake Wars, it was Small Cakes is what they are. It's a franchise. And I was looking at opening one, down to the point of actually having my location, and I couldn't get the exact one I wanted. And you want to talk about God's like divine hand in everything, like, it happened for a reason. And I was not going to settle. And so in came Zaya Active through a church friend of mine a long time ago that wouldn't leave me alone. Um, and she was like, will you just come into this thing? And I thought it was Fabletics. I wanted nothing to do with it. And by the third ask, I had said, okay, like I remember thinking, okay, this has come up more than one time. It's been thrown in my face several times, and I know a message when I see a message. And so I said, fine, I will appease you, put me in it. I ignored everything until Blair had come on and said, like, oh, this is my side hustle to my side hustle. And I was like, what is this? And I was like, hold on a second. And she got that golden message that anybody would love to have of, hey, I want to hear more about the business, in bold letters. And so we met for coffee. I instantly my out was my husband. And I'm not kidding you guys. Like, that was my exact thought. I had felt a little bit of the clothes that she brought. My thought was, my out is my husband. I'm going to blame it on him. I have to go home and talk to him, and yada, yada, yada. And that's when he dropped the bomb of, this is so you. You should totally do this. And I was like, you're supposed to say no. Like, this is not what I wanted to do. And, and I just said, really? Okay. And so I jumped in. But it was, I jumped. Like, it was one of those that was truly, I've never done it online, you guys. I come from the history when you did the parties in the home, and when you drove all over the place and dragged all your crap into somebody else's house. Like, that is what my history of direct sales is. And it was exhausting, and it burnt me out. My husband hated it because he spent so much time away. And honestly, it was one of those that when I found out I could do it online, that was like the other kicker, was I could sit on the couch, still home in my life, maybe not as present, but I was not leaving the house for 4 hours, to go sell a lipstick. And so it was like, that was really, really nice, because it was definitely one of those things that was appeasing to my husband, because he wanted me to be home, especially with the kids. Like, it just made sense. And so it was a matter of like, how do we work this? How do I do this? I was a dental hygienist at the time, you guys, and I just made myself so unbelievably busy, that I didn't care if somebody said no to me. I didn't care. Like, if someone was like, no, I was like, great, I'll talk to you in 3 months, because I literally have like 16 parties this month. I like, take it off my plate. Like, and I think that was something that, helped with my mindset, because in my previous company, my mindset was, I'm going to load my calendar with the expectation that over half of them are going to cancel. And I hate to say that, but truly, that was what happened. And that was how I came into Zaya. And so I instantly came in with this like wall in front of me that I had to overcome. And it was an instant, like, okay, I know all these people are going to cancel, so I need to load more on my calendar. And none of them canceled. And I was like, oh, wow. And you guys, and it was in April of 2018 when we seriously, you want to talk about inventory issues? Holy moly. I would sell a shelf. I would sell a nail. Like, I didn't care what was on the racks that we had at the warehouse. I would sell it because there were like the floral light tights, 5 minutes, done, gone. And that's no joke when we sit there and say that, because it was, and then you were just going, oh my gosh, like, and the one thing that I remember, and I remember this about my hygiene career, and it was something I took forward with me into Zaya, was, if you treat the patient, go treat the patient right. Like, if you go by what the patient has, you can't go wrong. So it was always like, treat the patient with the best of care, with the most ethical of care, do right by the patient is how I always approached my work. And so when I brought it into here, it was do right by the customer. And I didn't let them know that there was literally crickets hanging on the shelves. Like, I didn't let them know that. I didn't let them feel that. It was, you know what? I'm working on it. Just hang tight. We're going to get you taken care of. I've got you. Like, they didn't know inside that I was like, oh my God, like freaking out, because there was seriously no way, you guys, and I don't exaggerate when I say 5 minutes, like, that's how fast this stuff was gone because we had gone through the biggest growth. Well, maybe the next one came up in that fall, but at the time it was the biggest growth we had ever experienced in Zaya. And it was like, they didn't expect it. It was truly just like we popped all of a sudden. It was just, you got a couple like people, big leaders that had been in businesses before, just exploded, and just here came the tidal wave. And they didn't, it was really cool to see, but it was really scary to kind of go through at the same time. So it was just one of those, that was a valley. I would say the valley was for sure me coming in with an instant wall expectation of my business. And then when it didn't cancel, that just threw my business into Mach speed. And just an insane amount of momentum that I am grateful for. But at the same time, trying to wrap your brain around what you're doing and how do you teach that down? Because we were growing so fast, and it was just like, wow, I have to teach you people. Like, I actually have to train you people, you know, and that is something that I am so passionate about. Okay. Because some of these things, you guys, when we talk about the peaks and valleys, the valleys are hard. Okay. The valleys are hard. And some of the valleys, you guys, it's like, as I look at my business in its like longevity of what I've done in 3 years, it's, some of the valleys have been like, you can't control all the things, right? And that sucks for those of us that like to, you know, control things and have what we want when we want it. We've done our part. So what the heck is this not happening, right? It's frustrating, and it's it's really challenging. And part of that, you guys, is it's a puzzle. It becomes a massive puzzle. You deal with blockers, you deal with all sorts of fun things in your business, and personalities, and all sorts of different challenges that come up. Patience, you guys, it's taught. Patience is a huge thing that the valley is going to teach you by far, whether you want to learn it or not. It's something that is going to come to you. And another thing that was hard is frustration, you guys. Frustration of an upline not training. Okay. And I am a product of that. And I'm not going to dog on somebody, but I will tell you, this is where grit happens. If you don't have grit, you're not going to be resourceful. Okay. You have to have grit in those valleys to become resourceful, to find what you need. An upline does not make you successful. Okay. Know that. When some people, you know, we see these people that are coming up, and I need to have a change of sponsor, and I need this, and my upline this, and thank God they kind of put a kibosh on majority of that. But a lot of the times people think that, oh my gosh, I have to have an amazing sponsor for me to be successful. That is the furthest from the truth. You have to be your best resource that you have ever been able to put together in order for you to be successful, because it truly is. You guys will read this next month, but the best thing of this business is you're your own boss. The worst thing of this business is you are also your own boss. Okay. And so that is wholeheartedly, the epitome in my mind of grit, because you have to show up and hire yourself and fire yourself and show up when you don't want to show up. And that can be hard sometimes. And, you know, being a leader it can be lonely for sure, because you know, there's so many different dynamics and perspectives that we get caught up in. And so, you know, I would say, you guys, my business, we did really, really well. I retired 1 year into my dental hygiene career because I had doubled my income at that time. And so I let go of my hygiene career as a dental hygienist 1 year after starting my Zaya business. I think I was the first Zaya rep to ever let go of a position, which is really, really cool and fun. It was really fun to announce it and just to kind of step out on that faith of, I had to give it up. And you guys, this was something, I'm not saying go quit your jobs. Don't do that. Okay. But for me and my personality, and dental hygiene is a very flexible career, because we get to um, you can contract yourself, if that makes sense. So it's like I could work, at the time I was working 4 days at one little dental office, but you could do 2 days here, 2 days there, this and that. And the one I worked at, we had a good group of us. And so when I made a day of income with my Zaya paycheck, I let a day go. And why I did that is if you have any crack in your belief, if you have any ounce of fear, or you have that back door, even like a sliver, and I'm talking like paper thin sliver open, you're giving yourself an out to quit. And so for me, I had to shut it. And I had to literally, I replaced a day, I let the day go. I replaced a day, I let a day go. I replaced a day, I let a day go, because I kept shutting the door, and it was pushing me to continue on in my business. And it freed up that time for me to be able to spend and focus on the growing team. And then once I had doubled it, I was able to have that piece of, okay, I'll let it go in case something ever happened. I had already doubled it, so I could still lose half and still bring in what I was bringing in for my family. Okay. And so I love that piece that, you guys, it's like, when I think about this business, what would happen to the main income earner of your house if they lost their job tomorrow? That's scary, because most people are looking at their watch going, savings, oh, 5 seconds later, it's gone. That's reality for a lot of people. Okay. And so, what Zaya has allowed me to do in between my patients at stoplights, no joke, on my lunch break, I brought my computer in. And instead of like gaggling with the friends at the lunch table, I opened my computer and I got my work done, and I posted in my parties. Like I was very, very purposeful with my time. I stayed up after my kids went to bed. Like it truly became a hyper focus for me. And that's how my brain works. I am hyper focused on Zaya because I love what I do. I love what it has done for people. And as I've seen it come true to me, I want more people to have what I have. And it's just something that drives me. And so that's when you think about what this business can do and the gift it truly can be, for those that want to work it that way, it is unbelievable. It's powerful. It's really, really powerful. And so, some of the things when we talk about, those hard things, okay, I hit a low in my business, you guys, in January of 2020. Okay, I had an expectation. I had a goal on my vision board. I had every expectation that it was going to happen, and there's no reason it shouldn't have happened. It didn't happen. I literally in my brain almost quit my business. Okay. And to give up at that point, what that paycheck was, would have been crazy. I mean, to now what I have, which is 100 times that, like insane of what I would have given up on that one. And I'm just like this, why I did that though, is because I had hit a valley and I had made it about me. Okay. And this is a big growing point right here, is how do you change a valley focus? Like, how do you change that? And for me, you have to have a shift. Okay. You have to shift your brain. And so one of the things, there's an amazing book I love. One of the books I gift out is Leader Shift by John Maxwell. And I do it in his workbook. And it truly is a book I give to senior directors, because at senior director level, and this is off of the story, but at senior director level, senior director, you can get there. Like you can get there, just by bringing in people and volume and that kind of stuff. To go any further, you have to grow leaders. Okay. Up until senior director, like you can just sponsor people and become a senior director. You can't move any further until you serve people and you learn to grow leaders. And for me, that book was ever changing and helping these people, helping me, grow through, okay, like you've got to turn and serve. You guys, it was something, and it's a really weird feeling, and it happens at senior director. And I feel like it happened, where's the last time? Double Zaya, I felt like it kind of happened, but coming to Zaya Presidential, oh my word, like it was like on steroids. And it was seriously, it's like you can't move forward. You almost have to set yourself still or move back in order to pull everybody forward with you. It's like an arrow. Like you pull yourself back in order to just propel yourself way past where you're going. And I feel like that is where senior director, you get that really weird feeling, really weird and awkward feeling, because you have to, you're often selling, and I'm a seller, like I can sell, like you're often doing this, but it was like, wait, I have these, like, I can't go any further. I have done what I need to do to get to where I need to be, but I can't go any further until I help these guys here. So I had to stop. And same goes with, like I said, when you're going up to double, when you have anything that you have to look at multiples to move forward. And I had to stop and analyze and look, how can I serve here? How can I serve here? And until that happened, then I propelled forward. Okay. And so that's really, really important, but it's the shift, you guys, it's not about you. And a lot of the time we make it about us. A lot of the time. Why am I not getting here? My team is not doing this enough. Why aren't they sponsoring? Blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff, when it's like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing to help yourself? Okay. And that is something my first line knows. I'm going with or without them. Okay. They can get on board or they can sit on the sideline. I'm going to continue moving forward. I'm not going to continue to try and drag the dead or wake the dead, or, that's just not my personality, because I don't have time to grow somebody else's business. And so I don't handhold people that I bring in. I don't. I give them 30 to 60 days. I teach them, I show them the resources, I help launch them. They are in our threads. They have my system that I have set up with everybody. And that's what you get. They know where to find me if they have any questions. And as those questions start to kind of slow down, if they start to come back up, you better believe I make them wait a hot second to make sure that they can go find the resources on their own first before I just throw the answer out at them. Okay. So like, maybe I'm a hardcore mama. I don't know. I'm a military, I'm a Marine too. So that might come with some of my background of just, I didn't have that. So if I didn't have that, I know anybody can do this business. And so for me, like, if I can go find the resources or make the resources and pave the path that my team had, absolutely, you can go Google our team page and search a title and find something to make something happen. Okay. So other thing is when you're doing your shift, how can you serve? Like, you have to take, you guys, in the Bible, in order to be great, one must serve many. It stands true everywhere, not just direct sales because it's direct sales, it's life. Okay. And to be great, one must serve many. And that doesn't leave us out in here. Like, you can serve all over the place. And when you serve, good things happen. Okay. And part of this is learning the teams underneath you. So that was something when I didn't get what I wanted, and I'm a firm believer that this one up here did it on purpose, okay? Because he knew my focus was on accolades. He knew my focus was on a title. He knew my focus was on me. And that is not where it should have been. And so I got the good old smack to the face and redirected where I was supposed to be. And that's what I rolled with. And did it hurt? Heck yes. I was so mad. Like, I'm not even going to pretend. I was fuming, is a nice way to put some of the choice words that I have. I was so mad. I cried. It ruined the end of my trip. Like, I was upset, to say the least. But shortly after that, I kind of was like, wait a second. Like, it hit me when it was like, this is not my focus. This was not my focus. And this is what I want to talk to you guys about. You guys, we join for our why. Okay. We don't join to say, oh my gosh, I want to beat Megan to the top. Oh my gosh, I want to be up there with Chrissy and Natalie. We don't join for anything like that. We join for our own why, which usually pertains to our family, to finances, to supporting some sort of cause. Okay. That's why we join these businesses, to become a better version of us, to find community. Okay. We join for those reasons. And those are amazing reasons. Often, though, we get derailed and we lose clarity. We lose clarity, and it can be very, very quickly, okay, because of titles, because of pace, because of personalities, okay? And so thinking, and what it does is it makes us think that we're less than, okay? But in fact, we are simply very different paths and histories and futures, and we have our own journeys. And that's what you have to remember. You're not in it to race anybody anywhere, okay? When you get there, it's going to be amazing, okay? But you have to grow in order to get there. And that's amazing too, because you become an amazing individual as you're going through everything. But you guys, you have to remember always why you started. And if you start looking to the side, your clarity is gone, okay? And that was something that in my lowest valley that I had to hold on to. Was my purpose was to grow a foundation. My purpose is to help kids across the world and to build homes in other countries and help youth with hunger and clothing and shelter. Like that was my big reason of why, one of the things I wanted out of Zaya. And I had to hold on to that. And I had to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I didn't get this. Now what? And, and we were still doing great. My team was amazing. Okay. But I was holding on to this accolade over here that I really wanted for some reason. But if I would have had this, my focus would not have been where it needed to be in order for my business over the next 2 years. I sat at Double Zaya for 2 years, you guys, almost to the day, 2 years to grow to Zaya Presidential. Okay. And so it's okay, to go through valleys, but know that you have to shift, know that you have to learn your team, know that you have to repurpose your focus onto what it is and accept that piece of it, you guys. And as there's other valleys that came up, I had a blocker in my way. I've had, we've had to deal with other puzzle pieces of, I don't know. I mean, you guys have seen the gamut of, people giving up on stuff, people not showing up 1 month, holidays coming, all of this kind of crazy stuff, people going on vacation and their whole team thinks they can go on vacation. It's great. So you have all of these different dynamics, but what can you do about it is you have to be able to look at how you can serve. And so that's what I did. And I got past, you guys, oh my gosh, you guys, I've got elites. I have another presidential on my team. I have not Zaya, she's a presidential. I have elites. I've got, I don't even know, probably 20 plus something double Zayas in my team. Like I have a lot of leadership in my team, but I lost levels 8 through 10 on my pay. And that sucks, but all that I could do was dig and learn my legs of my business. And that's something that I'm truly passionate about. That's something that I've been taught. And that's what's helped me get to Zaya Presidential, was understanding my back office and understanding the legs of my business and what each one of them needs. And they're all different requirements and how to work with different ones over other ones, because everybody's looks drastically different. My business looks different than Megan's. My business looks different than Chrissy's and Blair's. Like everybody has their own different dynamic. And as much as I'd love to say, oh gosh, you can all just skyrocket to the top, you can't. You simply can't, because there's obstacles, you guys. Obstacles are put in your path for you to grow through. Okay. And they're put there on purpose. And because I feel like the obstacle that you face is going to come up for you to teach one day. Okay. And you have to grow through it. And most people stop, you guys. We see most people when they come in their business, they think they can open the door and they're going to become the top of the company off their launch party, right? Most of them don't get off the launch pad. And problem is that's where things have to shift. Is people think, oh gosh, it's going to be super easy. It's not a hard business. We all know that, but it's discipline. It is motivation only gets you so far, you guys. Motivation is amazing and I can give it to the best, but motivation is a peak in a valley type of business. And you have to have that discipline when we talk about not when you have to show up when you sure as heck just don't want to. Okay. And that's something when people face that obstacle, you guys, I learned something. One of the mentors that I still follow to this day from my previous company, because she lights me on fire. She says excuses are for amateurs. And I love it, because an excuse is simply a choice that you've chosen to make, and you have to own it. Okay. So I get excuses all the time, and you guys, they're simply choices of what a priority is over another priority. And it shows you what people's priorities are and what they want. And so, I say, just don't give me an excuse, just flat out tell me I don't want to do it. I'd rather you be upfront and honest instead of peddle around something, because I already know, like, you're choosing something over something else. So excuses are for amateurs. And it kind of stings a little bit. And it makes me think, when I'm thinking of an excuse, I'm like, ooh, like, oh, that doesn't sound good. Okay. Like it makes me think about things a little bit. So, I love that. But you guys, a couple other things too, and then I'll go through and see what questions you guys had. But I loved these next ones. And I don't know if you guys are into your faith or not. I sure as heck am. Okay. But we will never fully pursue what we don't believe we are worthy to receive. Okay. Believing bigger means to believe you're worthy, wonderful, and ready. Sometimes people think, gosh, I just don't know if I deserve this. I don't know if I get this, or I don't know if this is for me. You guys are putting a cap. They put a cap on what they believe. You guys, it's almost like you're insulting this guy up here by doing that, because there's a reason that there's beliefs coming into you, and there's a reason things are put in your path for a purpose. Okay. And God requires progress, not perfection. I want to say that again, because I am a perfectionist when it comes to my business. I'm not in any other part of my life, trust me. But for some reason in my business, because I'm hyper focused on it, and I actually have a coach on this as well. In my business, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm not showing up enough. How much more can I lead? How much more can I do for my team? What else? Like, that's the stuff in my brain all the time. Even though I do a ton, there's always that, like, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like they think I may not be doing enough for them. Okay. It is, you guys, you have to know that He requires progress, not perfection. Do it a mess. Do it whatever works for you, but just know, like, don't wait for perfect, because it's never going to happen. And He is less concerned with what's in your life and more concerned with how you're approaching life. How are you showing up to serve other people? How are you showing up to serve your team? Are you leading by example, or are you sitting back saying, I need you to go sponsor, but yet you haven't made any of the asks? Okay. That's really, really important, because your team will do what you do. Your team will do what you do. So when you let your foot off that gas pedal, even though you may not think you are, and you are, your team does the exact same thing. Okay. Even though they don't feel it, they do the same thing that you are doing as their leader. Okay. Give Him surrender, trust, and not perfection. Just trust and walk out on faith. Okay. We are what we believe. Our thoughts make way for our feelings. Feelings influence our choices and perception, and ultimately our beliefs. Okay. So we are what we believe, you guys. You have to believe in yourself more than you ever have. And even in those hard times, you have to have that next level faith, if that makes sense. So hold on to what we believe in, not what we've seen or where we have been. Have that next level faith. And that is the things that have gotten me through those valleys have truly been, holy cow, I'm going to build those homes in Africa. Like, it's going to happen. I don't know how the heck it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And that's where that next level faith is. This is not, oh my gosh, look what I did last month. This is awful. Like, I don't believe I should be a leader. I don't be like, it's no. And I claimed it the first time I taught at Summit in 2018, that I would be at the top of this company. And I would have been if they wouldn't have changed the titles from Double Zaya and above in 1 year, because that was my plan. And so I hit it, but then they added 3 more titles. So I'm like, oh man, like, okay. So my plan got derailed a little bit, but nonetheless, I held to it, you guys. Why? Is because I proclaimed it in front of, well, at what that summit was like 120 people, but that was what we had. And I claimed it in front of all the owners and everybody that was there. And so I had to stand true, and I had to show up, and I had to walk my talk. Okay. And that is truly powerful. So there's always, you guys, there's always going to be highs and lows. And it's, even though I'm at the top of the company, I'm not done. Okay. I'm not done until every person on my, especially my first level, that wants to be there with me is there. And that's the mentality you have to have, is you don't ever arrive. You don't ever just show up and think I'm done. Maybe, 10 years down the road, 15 down the road, fine. But my goal, what's next? I love to teach and train people. I'm building an academy for the next leaders to come up, because I want to take it out of my own team to the company and use it. Like, I love doing this kind of stuff. And so you always have to have the what's next, or you're going to get stagnant and you're not going to move forward. And when you get stagnant, you guys, stagnant water is disgusting. It is mosquito filled. It is egg filled. It is algae filled. It is just gross. So you have to constantly be moving in order to keep growing and getting into that what's next, and growing yourself at every level. Okay. So it doesn't just stop when you hit the top. Okay. So that's kind of what I've got. I don't know. Hopefully that wasn't too crazy, but let me go through some stuff. You want me to go through? Is there questions?
Katie, I feel like it's just me and you on the screen right now, and you are literally like speaking right to me. Like everything, like my heart is like pounding, because I need to hear so much of what you said. You are truly, Zaya is lucky to have you in the community, because you are.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, that was so good. I loved everything, but my favorite thing that you said was, to be great, one must serve many. Oh, it just like almost it brings tears to my eyes, because it is so true. This is not about me. It's not about yourself. It's about how you can help others and how we serve others. And that's what I love so much about this business.
Yes.
So much good stuff that you said. I didn't see, and everyone was commenting like, "You're speaking right to me. I love you." I mean, just like so many good comments. But anyone unmute. I don't know. I look at, like, kept looking at my sister too, because I feel like you were like speaking right to my sister. So much of what you said, my sister and I have just been talking about.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
So good.
Yeah, Katie, it was so good. Yeah, it was so good.
Oh, you're welcome, you guys. And it doesn't mean, like, when I say serve many, like my husband and I, we've created our foundation, and I am so thrilled. It's called the Peanut Butters Jam. And, and it's my son, we call him Peanut Butter. And that was something that came to me in the middle. I was laying in bed, and I knew I wanted a foundation. There's many things as you grow a business that you're going to find out that you're going to need for tax purposes and giving and all sorts of things. But the foundation, like, he's our peanut butter, and he's like the glue. And his jam is helping youth and young adults with food, clothing, and shelter. And so that's where we created the Peanut Butters Jam. And we can serve not just Zaya like team, but it allows us to serve outside of that and internationally. And so for me, like, I love that kind of stuff. So if you ever get a chance, go look up the Peanut Butters Jam, or I think it's pbjam.org. But yeah, so you guys, there's so many ways to serve, and people see that and they watch that. One of the things that I'm seeing a lot of, and this is just my message, is I'm seeing a lot of people starting to have to get into doing these funny, weird reels and funny, like, TikTok things and all this kind of stuff. You guys, if it's not true to you, don't do it. That's all I have to say. Because I tell you, the people that you're going to attract are going to be like you. And I can't do that stuff. It is not my personality. It is not who I want to be. And not only that, I wouldn't expect my first line to all of a sudden be like, oh my God, Katie's doing reels. I have to go do all this stuff now. You have to be able to duplicate what you're doing. And so I see a lot of people just shifting and grabbing at everything that they possibly can as if like, this is the next best thing. This is this thing. And this is this thing. You guys, I grew this business old school. I grew it through relationships. I don't cold message people. I did it for like a hot second and then I got exhausted. Some of you might do it and that's totally fine. It's not my jam. Okay. I do it the old school way of building a relationship with people. And that is one of the biggest things I teach in my Directors Academy, because ultimately that's what it is about. And so if you're doing those things and you're doing right by the customer, it will come. Don't feel as though you have to go become some different personality to show up differently. Show up as you 100%. Don't sugarcoat yourself. I mean, unless you already are a sugarcoater person, you know, but be you wholeheartedly, and you will attract the right people to you that you will get along with and will work with. Okay. So just know that piece. Okay. Sorry. Let me go up and see if there's some questions for you guys. Okay. So
yeah, and unmute. If anyone has any questions that didn't post anything, feel free to unmute yourself and ask Katie. Now, you guys, now is a great opportunity to ask away anything that you feel. And I love that you just said that about the reels, because I have tried and I suck at them and it's not my jam. I'm like, I tried. I'm like, I'll try and see if this, you know, and oh man, I'm so terrible at them. My husband's like, me, these are not good.
When it takes me more time, I'm like, this is so time consuming. I'm like, I have so much other stuff to do. Like, how do these people have this time on their hands? Like, not for me at all. So, okay, so let's see. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate, like, at all. I am an open book and I'm avoiding bedtime right now. So by all means, like, ask away.
Hi, Katie. I have a question. I was so it spoke to me when you said about the like still waters, and it was really like, I feel like the last month, like March, I was so excited. I got director, senior director, and now I like totally feel lost on how I can support my team. I feel like my team, we're still small, but I feel like my team has not been, like, I don't know where to even start to help serve them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, we have our group chat, and, you know, everyone will message about like sizes or questions, but I don't know what I should be doing daily to make sure that I'm serving them. I guess I feel like I'm not, I need to step in that leadership role, and I'm like scared, nervous, not sure what I should do. Am I doing not enough or too much? I guess I just need some kind of like, what signs should I get to figure out how I can serve my team?
So my first question would be, I would need to know, are you going for a director? What are you wanting out of your team? Like, I
want my team to become leaders. I want my team to be growing their own teams.
So what's your title? Is it Maya?
Yes, I'm Maya. I was, I guess, ranked senior director.
Okay.
But I feel like when you said that, you know, some people just become these ranks because people are enrolling, and that's kind of how I felt. It was like, all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, like this just happened out of nowhere. Like, I don't know.
So your next step is going to executive. So you have to grow those two teams. You need to have two of those directors. And so honestly, it comes down to analyzing your team, and you need to look at those legs and where your strongest legs are. And you need to determine if it's volume or if it's structure based that's needed. And then you're going to be able to help on those specific needs, because all legs are different. I have double Zaya legs that are mass volume that don't have the structure. I have got double Zaya teams that are structure but always need the volume. So you really need to look at the legs of your business and find out like what they need. And you need to pinpoint who those directors are going to be, like who the two directors underneath you are going to be. And at that point, now you can determine, okay, in order for them to become directors, to be a director, you need anywhere between 10 to 15 parties a month, right? So now we can start looking at their party counts. Now you can start going into their back office and looking at that kind of stuff and saying, well, okay, if you guys are doing 8 parties a month, And, depending on their volume of what they're producing, but if you say they're producing, $1,000 a party, then they need 10. If they are doing less than that, obviously you need more than that. But at that point, then you can turn and say, okay, my goal for you is follow-up. The three main things we do in our business, the three pillars that I teach, that I know, is parties, follow-up, and launching people. Those are the only three focuses that I teach in my business, because those are the three main factors that have the biggest influence on your business. Follow-up being the main one. So that's how you can work with them in regards to the conversations that they're having. What do they look like? One of the main things I teach in my Directors Academy, which is mainly focused on conversations, because people suck at them, to be honest. Like, they do. And people get scared when that first objection shows up. And, I don't candy coat. So I'm telling you, people stop at the first smokescreen objection, because most people will be given that, because those people know that they're going to get off their back and they're going to scare them, and they're not going to come back, and they're going to leave them alone for a while. And so you really have to work through those conversations of what they look like, of, okay, here's the excuse I was just given. Everybody's busy on the planet nowadays, so that's not a real excuse, honestly. So now you have to figure out, what's the conversation look like to come back to that person and say, well, great, I'm so glad you're so busy. I am too. Oh my gosh, I can totally relate. What is it that you'd want out of Zaya if you were to do it? Because if she wants $500 a month, you guys, that's a drastically different looking schedule than earning 6 figures a month. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you have to figure out what it is she wants. Because if I think she wants 6 figures a month, you better believe like an hour a day is not going to cut it. But if she wants $500 a month, then sure, that will cut it. Okay. Yeah. So you have to figure out how to have those conversations. So my first steps to you would be, find out who your pinpoint directors are going to be. And then you need to analyze down into their teams of, okay, what type of volume are you guys doing? How many people are on the team? You can look at how you're going to incentivize those teams specific, and you can do that. You guys incentivize specific legs differently than other legs. Okay, you should be doing that. And then and coach to that piece of it. So that's how you dig down into a team. I think Natalie calls it tap rooting. I've never heard of that, which I like that name. It sounds fun. I just say dig. Okay, so dig into your team, and then what you do is you empower that leader. And so for me, I create threads. I wrap my arms around all these little teams. And so I create threads for the individual director team, like her own team, and I'm in there, and we start the conversations going, because she needs to grow as a leader. So she should be posting the new releases. She should be posting the restock. She should be posting the Make Room Mondays. She should be posting her incentive she's doing in there. She should be cheering when somebody hits bonuses. Like, she should be shouting all these little things out so that they can kind of get their own little like conversation happening, and she can grow as a leader like that. And so you can help facilitate that piece of it. And then again, you can throw out, like I said, a team challenge of, hey, like, you guys closed out 8 parties. Your goal for next month is 11. So what that means for this team of 3 is 1 more party each, and then how do we get that on the books? Does that help some?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely giving me a direction on where to go and conversations I need to have. So thank you.
Absolutely. No problem. Maya, the book was called Leadership. Oh, she got it. Okay, perfect.
I think Dana had a question. How many, or do you still do weekly parties?
No. I've gone down to like 1 party a month, by choice. I last month, I think I did 2. But I used to do, for 2.5 to 2 3/4 of my business, I did anywhere from 4. My max that I've ever done was 16. So it always mainly hung around the 8 to 12 range for a good couple of years. Okay. So, and then it slowly started to dwindle. And honestly, I just have so much going on with my academies, that I do for my team, and trying to help grow the doubles and, that kind of stuff, that, I don't mind doing the parties, and I do still do them because you guys, we all know we need parties to get into new activity and new people. And so I do that purpose of it, but outside of that, I've been able to kind of step back to be able to now kind of be the CEO, like, of really digging down into my team and growing the strength, because we have 32, I have 32 directors and above direct to me. And so it's, my focus is them. Like, I want you guys, when you have the strength close to you, you have stability. And so you can be as big, fat, and wide as you want in this business. And that's what I highly recommend, because there's no limit on how wide you can get paid. Okay. There is a limit on how deep you can go, but there's no limit on how wide. So that means there's no glass ceiling in Zaya Active. So you always want to be sponsoring. And as you grow the strength close to you, and bring those leaders up high to you, like if one of them drops off, like, it's not really such a big deal. Okay. So because I've got such a wide grasp. So, that's the beauty of, you want to keep it close to you. So I want to grow those close to me. And so I focus a lot on helping to grow and teach them, to develop, which is in their teams.
Okay, I don't know if you can see or hear me, but I'm curious, with parties that you're running, how many do you do, like multi-hostess parties, or how do you fit in those if you're doing like 8 to 16 a month?
So Joey, I came from old school where we SynthShare hadn't been introduced yet. So SynthShare and Post My Party like weren't in the name of the game when I started. So I would open up 4 tabs all at once on top of my computer and copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, schedule, next, copy paste, copy paste. And that's how,
oh my goodness.
So yeah, you want to talk about like, oh my God. And then SynthShare came in, and that was like a life changer until Facebook jail decided to evolve. And that whole thing happened. So we went through Facebook jail land, and that's not so much anymore, thankfully. But that was kind of a disaster. And then like I've got some leaders that have come from another company that have all done mega parties and the mega events. And so we don't, I wouldn't say I do multi-host events. I've done a few, and they've been successful, but for me, typically my single events are the most successful. So I think they can go either way. I don't think there's one right or one other. Obviously, you can gain more traction if you do multi, but our team's really big on doing, I would say we've got some pretty strong legs that do a lot of multi-events, especially because Facebook jail was the big thing. So that was a great way to get around it. But we do a lot of mega launches and mega parties. And so that's what we focus on when we're doing things is that. But yeah, now, because I don't do as many, I don't have to worry about that anymore, but it was a lot. I would schedule at nighttime for the next day, and during my patients, I would schedule the next couple hours.
I got second on, no, second. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I started, because we didn't have that. So it was a lot of copy paste into multiple parties all at once. So
and you would just go live, like if you went live, you would be going live like one after the other, or would you like save a video and then post that, or what would you do?
At the time, we didn't have the save feature. Like, it wasn't like where you did live and you could make evergreen, so then you could download it and save it. So I would go live and I would say the same thing over and over. Or what I would do is I would record it on my video, and then I would upload to a YouTube, and then I would post it in some of the parties. And so that way I had something. So there was different avenues that we tried. And that's the beauty of this business, honestly, is I just tried multiple things, and whatever worked, I would do. And there was no right or wrong way. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. If it doesn't work, great, I won't do it again. If it works, great, we're going to move forward and do that. Like, there's no, why wouldn't you try things? But just, I created my system. But when we talk about like incentives for things, try it. And if it works, awesome. If it doesn't, don't do it again. Like, there's no bad thing about trying something. You grow and you learn, like, okay, my team doesn't like this, or my customers don't want this, so just keep trying different things, and whatnot. So this is my training camp for everyone to sign up for. So my Directors Academy is for my team. So I have welcomed Sarah Bonham into my team page, so she gets to be part of that. Even though we have no connection whatsoever, she's simply just a sideline, but we came from the same company before, and we have the very same vision, but we are very different leadership styles. And so, but we get along really, really well. So there's that. And then my next one, which is my Executive Academy, that is our pilot kicking off. And that one, after my pilot, is the one I hope to take open to some of the other leaders in Zaya, to be able to be part of. So that is, we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed, all goes well.
Awesome. Anyone else have anything for Katie? I hate to keep you any longer, Katie. I know you.
Oh, you're fine. I like to talk, so by all means, ask away.
Anyone have anything quick before?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Katie. It's Jackie
Hey,
Lawrence.
Jackie, how are you?
I'm good. I love that you share that your business is different at your level. I love that you share how many parties you did in the beginning, because to load your calendar is how you're going to meet new people and grow your team. I mean, that is the key. But then it's great to know that it can evolve and change. I came from the same previous company that you were in, and I always heard that your business was going to grow and it was going to evolve and it was going to change, but it never seemed to. So I love seeing that with Zaya. If you put in the work and you do the work in the beginning and really hustle, you can grow into a different type of business, personally. But I do have a question, and I know that a lot of people, including myself, would love your insight. And I sent you a message, so you can ignore it. But when you have a team, don't worry, when you have a team and you have level ones that are awesome and they're great leaders, but they don't really love that you want to reach down and help your team, which is their team. How do you go about that? And I know I'm not the only one that has that struggle. When you see and you wonder, oh my gosh, are people getting the information? Are my level 3s getting the information? Are my level 4s getting the information? And you want to help, you want to give, but you have that level 1 or even level 2, and they may even be a great level themselves, but you know for a fact they don't really love to have you in their business. How do you work with that?
That's an awesome question. For sure. And you guys, I just have to say, my dog is snoring, so if you hear some weird noises, like he's a bull mastiff and like the smushed face, and I'm like, I hear him somewhere. He's close by, so just know it's not coming from me. Okay, so if there's some barking noises happening, it's not me.
Thanks for clarifying.
But you know what? First and foremost, like, I am glad you brought up, Jackie, the different type of business, because you guys, I couldn't handle. I have over 17,000 people on my team. I could not handle all the things with doing 10 parties a month. I just don't think I could do it. Honestly, I would go crazy, and there's just so much. So you do have to, you hear him? I hear him. Hold on, it's like he's driving me crazy. Titan, stop it. Oh, he's at the door. Oh my gosh. He would be in here if I didn't have the door shut. But so yes, and you almost want it to, because you guys, I don't want to be doing 10 parties a month in 5-10 years. Like, I don't want to be doing that. I want to be teaching people. I want to be training people. Like, that is where my passion is. If your passion is parties, then rock with parties for the next 10 years and do 10 a month. Like, if that's your jam, but make it what you want to make it. And then to your point, Jackie, this is a really great question. It's a tough question, but some of the ways that I have made sure that my Strong Start system gets taught down, because like you said, like I don't know what my level 13 and 14s are getting taught. I just don't know. So I have an automation that goes out to all my new reps, and they get my Strong Start program regardless. There's an email that comes out. All my people get uploaded in twice a week that come new to my team, and they get my program. Whether they choose to do it or not is up to them, but they have it. And I know that they have the resource. So they can run through my Strong Start system, and it gives them the link to our page and all of that stuff so that they have that option to plug in. The other thing too is, and this might sound tough lovish, they don't want you touching their team. Okay? It's your team too. And in my mindset, it is my job to do right by my team. And it is my job to make sure that my teams know that I am a resource for them, and that I am absolutely able to go down and look and say, oh my gosh, you're having an amazing month, and send them that message so that they know they're seen. Okay, so in my mind, what this is telling me is that these leaders are making it about them. It's a self-centered, it's a selfish, and it's a self-centered perspective, because all in all, you want people to find whatever resource is going to make them be successful anyway, anyhow. Unfortunately, some people, being that we grow these businesses, we are strong-minded women and men that grow these businesses, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, sometimes we get into this thing called manageritis, and we think people belong to us. Okay. I would never have joined this business for a boss to be over me, to tell me what I could and couldn't do. And so, you know, for someone to tell me, oh, I can't talk to this person, or I'm not allowed to listen to this person above you because why? It puts them on a pedestal, like a God complex. And so for me, there's personal growth that needs to happen there. And that's part of servant leadership, you guys. Servant leadership, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's sucky, and sometimes it's not pretty to do. And that includes these kind of conversations. And I've had to have them, and there's nothing, as long as you have permission, you guys, and when you guys do a conversation like this, you always want to compliment, coach, compliment. You sandwich it, okay? Compliment, coach, compliment. Get their permission and just say, hey, these are a couple things that I'm seeing. I think you're doing really awesome at working with your team. You're leading by example. I love seeing this. Do you mind if I give a couple pointers or some of the things that I'm seeing? Can I share them with you? Now you have their permission, and you're not coming at them like, okay, I've done it that way, and I don't talk to one of the leaders in that leg anymore. Okay, so like, she wasn't receptive. Okay, so get permission, and then kind of take it into that, like, hey, like, I'm here to serve. And I want you to know, like, there's no, like, she's only going to benefit from that. Like, that's the thing, is she's going to benefit from you helping her. And not only that, like, you can edify her as a leader to that team as well. So if you do it tastefully and you edify her and just say, hey, I really want to let the team know how amazing you are doing at leadership. And I can see some different things, but one thing I'm noticing here is yada, 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 you know, but I want you to know that I'm here to help. I'm not here. You're not going to take team from her. You're not going to dog on her. Like, you're not going to do those things. So, there's something going on, that there's a control, like there's a control that this is mine. They're mine. It's my team. It's mine. And what that's called is the law of the lid. The law of the lid is truly like, they're not going to go any further until I'm ready for them to go. And that's what has to happen. And it's in the print laws, what is it called? Where is my book? The Laws of Leadership. I think it's law, I don't remember what law it is, but it's in the Laws of Leadership. And until she pulls this off, or you guys can have that conversation to say, hey, like, I think they're ready to run. Like, let's challenge your team. Like, I want to edify you. I want to back you. Let's do this together. If you come at a united front, that might be a little bit better. And a better approach. So that way it's like, again, you're edifying. She gets the credit. She like, and you have to be humble about it. Like, and just, you know, it is what it is. But like, she needs to be seen clearly as a leader in that part. She needs to be seen as somebody that they're looking up to. And so that's going to be the position that you have to have that conversation and come at it as a united front together and building an incentive together and helping her, like, if you don't want me doing this, then I can help you. Let's do it together. But in essence, you're still doing what you wanted to do initially, which is serve that team. So that's a tough one. And I have got plenty of leaders in my team, but honestly, at the end of the day, it's my team too. And I need to make sure my team is what they have available to them. And that's the way I look at it. It's like, you don't see who's the leader of ours. You don't see Diane Nelson being like, that's my team. You can't coach anybody. Like, don't talk to my team. Like, you don't see that coming from Erin's mom. So what makes you any more special? You know?
Thank you. Oh, so good. I love that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, sweetie. Let me see here. Oh, you said something about a previous. Okay. Coming from a downline here, these messages or comments from our upline motivates my team. Yay. That's good, Brittany. That's awesome. I don't think anything. Is there anything else, you guys?
I didn't see any. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? If not, Katie, thank you again. I cannot tell you thank you enough. This was seriously so good. I know there's so many takeaways, and I am certain there's going to be a lot of people that watch this replay as well, because we had a lot of people who couldn't make it tonight, and it's definitely going to be one that's watched. So thank you so
you're welcome.
much. And I'm excited. Many of us will get to see you in Mexico here soon this summer. So that will be so fun. So hopefully we can connect with you there and see you in person. And thank you again 100 times.
Absolutely, you guys. I'm looking forward to it. I'll have a brace on my leg, but I'll have my kids, but I'll be that's how you'll find me. I'll have a brace on my leg. Okay. So that'll be me. So, okay. All right, you guys, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Everyone. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks.